Gold. For over 6,000 years, it's been the ultimate symbol of power, of divinity, of wealth. It's literally stardust, forged in dying stars, but the hold it has on us is something else entirely. So let's get into the incredible story of this one amazing metal.
But why? I mean, really, why this one metal? It's a simple question, right? But the answer is going to take us on a wild ride, from the tombs of ancient pharaohs to the high-security vaults of today's central banks. And yeah, even into the circuits of the very device you're probably watching this on right now. So where did it all begin? Okay, here's our roadmap. We're going to look at 5 key chapters in gold's story. We'll start with it as the metal of the gods. Then see how it became the first true money, watch the rushes that built nations, understand how we put the world on gold, and finally ask, what's its role now in a digital age?
First up, metal of the gods. Now to get this, you have to rewind to a time when gold wasn't something you'd spend. Before it was ever money, it was seen as something magical, a sacred connection to the divine. Get a load of this quote. It's from a set of ancient letters between kings. A foreign ruler is writing to the pharaoh, and he says that in Egypt, gold is more plentiful than dust. Now, he's not just saying, hey, you're rich. He's basically admitting that Egypt's power is almost supernatural, all because they had so much of this divine substance. And listen, this obsession wasn't just an Egyptian thing. It's one of the oldest, most universal human stories we have. We see the first gold artifacts pop up in the Levant, way back in the 4th millennium BCE. Then you find it in the tombs of the very first Egyptian pharaohs. And all the way over in Central Europe, you find these incredibly elaborate golden hats from the Bronze Age. We've been hooked from the very beginning. But getting it? Man, it was brutal work. I mean, look at these things. These are ancient Egyptian mining tools. We're talking stone hammers and grinders. Imagine the sheer back-breaking effort of using these to crush tons of rock just to find a few tiny little flecks of gold. That incredible amount of labor just made the metal seem even more precious. And this is really the key point for this era. In ancient Egypt, you couldn't go buy bread with a piece of gold. No way. It was considered eternal, perfect. It didn't tarnish or decay. They literally believed it was the skin of the gods, especially the sun god Ra. So if you believe that, of course you'd want to be buried with it, to take a piece of immortality with you into the afterlife. But then, a really revolutionary idea takes hold, and everything changes. Gold makes this huge leap from the temple and the tomb right into the marketplace. It goes from being a sacred object to being the first true money. And the invention that made this all possible was the coin. It seems so simple to us today, but this was a total game changer. Think about it. No more weighing out little bags of gold dust, trying to haggle, and hoping you're not getting ripped off. Now, you had a piece of gold with an official stamp on it from a king or an empire. That stamp was a guarantee. It was basically trust stamped right into the metal. And we can pinpoint exactly when and where this happened. We're talking about the 6th century BC in the kingdom of Lydia. That's in modern-day Turkey. The man in charge was the legendary king Croesus. You've heard the saying, as rich as Croesus? Well, this is the guy. He was the first to start making standardized coins from pure gold, and he changed business forever. The impact of this one idea was just staggering. Suddenly, you could have complex trade networks spanning huge distances. Rulers could pay professional armies and build massive empires. Wealth was no longer just about owning land. It was something you could carry in your pocket, and everyone, everywhere, would accept it. This single concept pretty much powered the world for the next 2,500 years. It's just incredible. Okay, so this hunger for portable wealth eventually turns into a full-blown fever. In the 1800s, the discovery of huge new gold deposits didn't just create a few millionaires, it completely redrew the map of the world. Just try to wrap your head around this number. In 1852, San Francisco had a population of 150,000 people. Just 5 years before that, it was a tiny outpost of 500. 500. That's not just growth, it's an explosion. It was a human tidal wave of people dropping everything and rushing west, all for the chance to strike gold. But that tidal wave left behind a really complicated legacy. On the one hand, yeah, it built California, fast-tracking it into the United States. It launched iconic companies like Wells Fargo and Levi Strauss. But on the other hand, It unleashed horrific violence on Native American communities, sparked ugly discrimination, and scarred the land in ways we can still see today.
And halfway around the world, an even bigger, darker story was playing out. The discovery of the largest gold deposit on the planet in South Africa made the country the world's #1 producer, but it came at a terrible, terrible cost. The fight for control over that wealth helped fuel a brutal war, and later, the entire mining economy became inseparable from the racist, oppressive labor system of apartheid.
After the chaos of the gold rushes, the world's big powers were desperate for stability. And they landed on a radical idea. Let's build the entire global financial system on a solid foundation of gold. This was the age of the classical gold standard. The idea was actually pretty simple. A British pound or a US dollar wasn't just a piece of paper, it was a claim check, a guarantee that you could exchange it for a specific amount of real gold. The genius of it was that it kept governments in check. They couldn't just print endless amounts of money. This created a level of stability and predictability in world trade that was really powerful. Well, 2 world wars came along and blew that system apart. So in 1944, the Allied nations met at Bretton Woods to design a new one. This time, the link was a bit different. Only the US dollar could be directly converted to gold at a fixed rate of $35 an ounce. Then every other major currency was pegged to the dollar. So in effect, the whole world's financial stability rested on the gold sitting in US vaults like Fort Knox.
And that system worked, until it didn't. On his Sunday night in 1971, President Richard Nixon went on TV, and with these words, he suddenly cut the final tie between the world's money and gold.
It's kind of amazing to think about. Millions of Americans were settling in to watch their favorite Western, Bonanza, when the president interrupted to make this historic announcement. In a single moment, he closed the gold window. And just like that, the world entered the modern era of floating currencies, where the value of money is no longer tied to anything physical you can hold in your hand. So that brings us to today. And the big question is, if gold isn't officially money anymore, then what is it? What's its purpose in our world of digital payments and cryptocurrencies? You can see the whole transformation just by looking at how we think about a gold coin. Back in Roman times, a coin's value was its face value, what you could buy with it. But a modern gold coin, like an American Eagle, it might say $50 on it, but it's actually worth thousands. Its value comes entirely from the metal inside it. Gold has gone from being a tool for spending to a tool for saving. And its jobs today are so diverse. It's what investors call a safe haven asset, the place they run to when markets get shaky. Central banks around the world still hold on to massive gold reserves. Because it's a great conductor and doesn't corrode, it's a critical part of the electronics in your pocket. And of course, its original role as a beautiful symbol of status and jewelry is as strong as it's ever been. And so we end right back where we started. For 6,000 years, gold has been our constant, our anchor, our measure of what has value. But in an age of ones and zeros, of cryptocurrencies and assets you can't even see or touch, will this ancient, heavy, physical metal keep its power? Or is its long, long reign as the ultimate store of value finally facing a real challenge? That's the big question for our time.